Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a January transfer move to Arsenal. Transfer window for January is really heating up. You're seeing a lot of deals starting to go through, primarily Man City doing a lot of business. I think the business that they're going to end up doing is going to be more money spent than the whole of the last transfer window when it came to Premier League teams. Last year, Premier League teams didn't really spend a lot of money in the January transfer window, but this season is definitely going to be different. A lot of that's down to the amount of injuries that a lot of teams have been picking up. Are they overplaying these players with all these different competitions? Surely that's something to be looked into. But it is heating up. Yesterday we heard about a £57 million bid made by West Ham for John Thuram of Aston Villa, a player that's been targeted by Arsenal, a player that they've been looking at, but that bid was turned down by Aston Villa. Aston Villa also said to be very unhappy about West Ham making this bid. West Ham tried to buy him in the summer, but they're very unhappy about it apparently because it's on the eve of a very important Champions League game for them. So that's the thing sometimes. I know a lot of times fans say, just throw the money down on the table and get it done and stuff like that. And it can backfire sometimes. It can really annoy the club and the club may not want to do business with you. On the other hand, it can be an aggressive move that makes the player throw his toys out the pram and try and force the move. Now, could this be the case when it comes to Matheus Cunha? Spoke about it yesterday and said how, Arsenal are monitoring the situation at the moment. That was even reported by Fabrizio Romano. And then news today about Matheus Cunha, where, it really does look like he's very unhappy at Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now, let's just roll it back a bit. Wolves wanted him to, and this was being reported heavily a couple of weeks ago, that Wolves were on the verge of him signing a brand new deal at the club. They probably will sell him in the summer, but they were tying him down to a longer contract, increased wages, and basically keeping him from now till the end of the season. However, things have seemingly changed since then. He hasn't signed that new deal yet. He hasn't signed that extension. He did play in last night's game where they lost 3-1 to Chelsea, but his manager after the game made some pretty damning comments about him and his attitude in the game. These were his quotes, which came from the manager. He says he's a captain, he can be frustrated, he wants to win, but everybody in the dressing room wants to win. I don't like his body language. And he said, I understand it now, I'll not understand it next time. Those are pretty harsh words from the manager. That seems like a player that's kind of throwing his toys out the pram and does want to force a move. Arsenal are the team that are very hot on him this month. He would be a great signing. He's a guy that can play out wide. He can play as an attacking midfielder. He can even play as a centre forward, a really versatile player. And he's Premier League ready. We've seen what he's been doing this season, scoring goals for fun, assists. He is a very, very good player. Now, what would they sell him for this month? If they do sell him, it doesn't look at this moment in time like he's going to sign that new deal. And if he starts really agitating for that move and they're just forced to sell him and just say, right, let's just move him out of the place, what will they sell him for? They've got a problem on their hands, Wolves, because their captain, Lemina, is also throwing his toys out the pram. He didn't even play last night, and he wants a move. He says, there's a proposed move for him to go to Saudi, but he's on the way out. So you can see, the blueprint for it already at the club. Will be very, very interesting to see if Matheus Cunha plays against Arsenal this weekend. Now, again, this is the delicate situation for Arsenal. When I'm talking about the John Thuram thing at Aston Villa, do Arsenal want to go in and get all aggressive with that move ahead of that game against Wolves? I'd think not, because that could really anger Wolves and really say to themselves, they don't want to deal with Arsenal. However, if the player's throwing his toys out of the pram and saying, I only want to move to Arsenal, this could be interesting. And for me, this would be a very, very good signing. The sort of signing would get me excited if Arsenal sign a Matheus Cunha. So it's definitely one to watch this January transfer window. But Matheus Cunha doesn't look happy at the club, and the manager is definitely not happy with him. You can see from his own words. So an interesting situation to watch. There's also another Brazilian player that's continually linked with Arsenal throughout this transfer window, and that's Igor Jesus, right, of Botafogo. The journalist Eduardo Burgos saying that Arsenal have been in informal talks with his representatives. Not a prolific goal-scoring record this season, 5 goals, 3 assists in 22 games, but did play a really important part of their Copa Libertadores win, in which he scored goals in that as well, and assists. Very quick player, very good player that's going to get better and better. Arsenal do seem to be very interested in Igor Jesus, but let's see if anything happens with that. There's also been a lot of noise today around him. Evan Ferguson of Brighton continues to be linked with Arsenal, but this would be a very difficult deal to get done. It would only be a loan deal. Brighton have no interest in selling Evan Ferguson right now, but they would be willing to loan him out. But as I've said before on this show, would he get the game time at Arsenal? Then there's the further complication that Arsenal have already loaned 2 players from the Premier League this season. You're not allowed to loan more than 2. They can't cancel the contract of Sterling because that's written into that they've got to take him for a full season. The only thing they could do would be to buy Neto, who's the goalkeeper that they've got on loan from Bournemouth, who hasn't played a game yet, and make that deal a permanent deal to enable them to get this loan done for Evan Ferguson. As I've said before, don't think you'll see Ferguson rocking up at Arsenal on a loan move this January, but stranger things have happened. This rumour flying around today, which has come from the Italian outlet TV Play, now they claim that Arsenal are already in a bid and are very interested in signing Marcus Thuram, the son of the great Lilian Thuram, French international, 27 years of age now. Inter only bought him about 18 months ago on a free contract. They acquired him for free from Borussia Mönchengladbach, and he's been having a really good season. 13 goals and 6 assists in 20 Serie A games. He's really been lighting up that division. I mean, we talk about Vlahovic and these players, but he's been doing much better than him this season. And Arsenal would like to sign him. Now, the likelihoods of Inter selling him, and despite these rumours, selling him this January, I see as highly unlikely. I mean, listen, if it was a move they're looking to make in the summer, then maybe, but I just couldn't see Inter, who are going for a Scudetto at the moment, who are going very well in that division. Why would they sell this guy who's absolutely hot at the moment? They may want to cash in on him in the summer. Got to balance their books, always sort of on that periphery, Inter Milan, of breaking the PSR rules, the financial fair play rules. So maybe in the summer, they may cash in on him. As I said, they acquired him for free, valued at around about £65 million, £70 million. But right now in January, despite this rumour coming out from this outlet, I see that as highly unlikely. But Marcus Thuram being linked today, and Hugo Larsson of Eintracht Frankfurt. Eintracht Frankfurt, they're like the Brighton of German football, the way in which they sell players, buy players, sell players for big money. You know, Kola Mawani, Mamouche now. This is another one, Hugo Larsson, 20 years of age, seen as a real prospect, attacking midfielder, central midfielder. Football Transfers claim that Arsenal very interested in the talented youngster. Excuse me. He recently signed a contract extension until 2029 with Eintracht Frankfurt. There's said to be a release clause in there, but nobody knows how much that release clause is. But Arsenal said to be showing a big interest in Hugo Larsson of Eintracht Frankfurt. January, that's not what we need right now. Strikers, or forward players is more what Arsenal will be looking at. But that is a rumour that is out today, according to Football Transfers. So those are the rumours today. Listen, I still think Arsenal are going to get a forward player in. Who that player is going to be, it's going to be really interesting to see. It's going to be a really interesting next couple of weeks until we lead up until transfer deadline day on the 3rd of February. Thanks for watching the show, and I'll see you tomorrow.